Germain Lussier, io9 Gizmodo.
I thought you were with the Daily Planet.
Yeah, well, today I am freelancing.
There you are.
Rachel, I'll start with you. I think when people see this movie, one of the scenes they're going to be talking about a lot is your scene at the camp with Mr. Terrific, which is super awesome. And I wanted to know, how long did it take to shoot, and what are your kind of memories of filming that?
Well, it was a blast. This is quite literally the first time I've ever spoken about shooting this scene because most people don't know it exists. But it was so fun. I mean, Eddie Gathegi is, I've been such a fan of his from afar for such a long time. He's such a talented actor, but I feel like people don't often get to see this side of him. He's so dry in the movie. He's so funny. And that scene in particular, we shot on a 100-degree day in Cleveland on a beach.
And the humidity was high too. It was a wreck of a week.
It was an absolutely miserable experience, and Eddie had to shoot this huge stunt scene, and there were so many stunt performers in huge costumes. I just remember us all melting, but Eddie was a total pro. You guys all were, with your little briefcases filled with cooling air that would pump through the suits. But that was one of the first scenes that Eddie and I got to shoot together. So that's what I think about mostly that day, just watching him fight against all the odds and kill that scene.
That's so cool. Nick, I love Lex in this. So great. I think the thing I like most about it is the way he fights Superman almost like a video game, which is, again, a little spoilery, but I want to know what was it like filming those things? What was kind of James's direction to you for those scenes?
Yeah, it's interesting when you're kind of a puppeteer behind the scenes in that effect of a character, because you know you're there at the hub, but you're not necessarily seeing exactly what's going on. And sometimes I was lucky where they'd already have shot David's side of the kind of opposing parts of the scenes, but otherwise it's a lot of imagination and trying to just guess the energy of what's needed at that point. But that's where James is so wonderful as a director, because he's very clear in what his vision is and what he needs. He's collaborative and inviting to try things and new ideas, but also he's like, this is what I need, this is what the movie is at this moment. And pushes you until he gets that. So it's like a fun environment to work in that sense.
It's super awesome. All right, we're taking it up a notch, and it goes to you, sir. Is the contents of the Kryptonian message in this are obviously a very important thing of the plot. And, obviously the film deals with it a lot. And I'm wondering, do you think Superman, by the end of this film, has finished dealing with what he learns there, or do you think that's something he still has to struggle with?
Well, it's interesting. I feel like anybody who's lost a parent has probably, a lot of people have had that experience of discovering something of theirs after the fact that changes their idea of what their parent thought about themselves or about their life. And it can be quite a destabilizing experience to have this pristine image of a person who you love and who loved you be even just subtly undermined. It kind of opens the door for, like, well, what else am I believing that isn't true, or what else am I taking on faith that might get pulled out from under me? I think the thing that Superman becomes clear about at the end of this film is that he needs to rely on the people who he has around him, ultimately, on Lois and on his parents and on Crypto and on his friends, Mr. Terrific, and not rely so much on his ideas of who he is or who he should be, but more on who his friends think he is and need him to be. And that's, I think, a great lesson to learn, but it also leaves open, as he goes on, like there are other things to be discovered and other assumptions to be shooken.
Yes. I was lucky enough to be on set last year. I didn't get to really see anything because you were filming the end of the movie. I now know. But at that time, David, I asked you, and I said, like, what do you know about James's plans for his character in the future? And you're like, not much. We're kind of working now on this. But now it's been about a year.
Yeah.
James is working on something new. We don't know. I don't know what it is. So for all you guys, what do you know? Do you know more now about the future of your characters than you did on set? I know you can't be specific.
No, that's true. I asked James about it on the plane to Rio, and he said no. And I said okay. And then he's been telling everybody that I was badgering him about it. And I asked him once. I just am curious. I'm excited.
I badgered him. He gave me absolutely nothing. We know nothing.
And we're doing like a 3-part film series about Lex Luthor.
I like that. That was perfect.
So,
And what's up with Jimmy Olsen? What is it about this guy? What do you think it is?
Well, do you
He's
know
got riz.
this is a true fact about Skylar Gisondo, which I hope is appropriate for me to share. Sorry, Skylar. You shouldn't say this about yourself. Other people should say this about you.
Where could this be
His
going?
testosterone is through the roof, off the charts. True story.
What?
So it's like, of course. I mean, who's surprised that guy, that his Jimmy Olsen is pulling the kind of game that he's pulling?
It's quite a game. And the movie is awesome. And thank you guys so much.
Thank
Thank you.